So you guys know I like to do rants about TV shows I watch. I kind of like TV shows lately. I used to be more of a movies guy, but uh, from my point of view, everything's just being remade, and I think a lot of people feel that way. Um, so like everything I see is just kind of a remake of something else. They say there are only 10 stories anyway, so you can't really blame people, but at the same time, it just seems like there's a little bit that can go on with a longer, potentially longer story arc. So you can technically do more with a TV show, and you don't have swearing and a whole lot of gore and violence to work on. TV's actually gotten pretty gory these days, but I think what I'm talking about is older shows. So some of you may have seen my Star Trek rants or whatever, or whatever rants on any other shows I've done. Walking Dead maybe. I've given you guys some updates on my life and what's going on as requested on my Walking Dead rant. So now I feel safe doing another TV show rant. Just for fun. Uh, I was on YouTube one day, and I don't remember exactly what I was looking for, but you know how YouTube is, it tends to try and give you something to look forward to in the little right hand side there. And I noticed season 1, episode 1 of Mork and Mindy. And I thought, well, I do remember seeing that show when I was a kid, and I thought it seemed like I thought it was pretty funny then, and like I do remember watching it as a family and stuff, and then I kind of looked into the show a little bit before I watched it, and it turns out I really could have only slightly remembered the last season, and now that I've seen it all, those season 4 episodes are very familiar. I've seen a few of those. Um, but I probably saw anything else I saw in reruns, like after school or whatever. Fox Family showed it for a while, so I probably saw it there. Um, and I remembered basically what the show was about. Mork's for Mork. He's here, kind of observing us. He meets Mindy, and eventually happily ever after, right? Uh, but and maybe I've mentioned this in some shows, in some rant videos, here and there, but I find things are very different after the fact. Like a lot of these shows that I used to sit down and watch with my family and what have you, I'd laugh at for very different reasons. Like I might be laughing while my dad's there kind of chuckling and shaking his head back and forth, and I don't understand exactly why he thinks it's funny that way. Sometimes he'd explain to me why I shouldn't really be laughing, or why it's funny but why it's not really funny, and sometimes I got it and sometimes I didn't. Um, I'll be doing an Alf rant after this, so that's a really good example. But um, anyway, I found the first season. I decided to watch the show. They have like the entire series on YouTube if you want to watch it. The season 2 and the season 1, 2, and 3 episodes are much better quality than the season 4 episodes, but you can watch the whole thing regardless. Um, and that's what I've done, just kind of, between things, just watched an episode here and there. I haven't really even gotten through an episode a day, or multiple episodes a day, like I normally would, because I've just been kind of busy with other things. But I think Mork and Mindy was ultimately a great show. Robin Williams was really funny in a one-off, a one-liner kind of way, like he is. He kind of got his start there. Um, so it's really funny in that regard. Mork's a very likable character. He's a likable guy. You don't want to dislike him. Um, there are some dislikable people on the show, which can be fun too. You love to hate a certain character, like Mindy's boss, Mr. Sternhagen. Like, uh, not really a bad dude, but like, you always got the impression, especially when he was drunk, that if he was going down, Mindy was going down with him. Guess who's going with me? Ah. Yeah, Mork's laugh, like you just hearing him laugh is funny. It's a really funny show if you just want to, kind of like turn your brain off and just chuckle at some one-liners. On the other hand, Mork's job here is as an observer. He has a very important job to report back to Orson and kind of tell Orson, I kind of learned this week, or we kind of this happened or that happened, and um, he's like the ultimate expatriate. He's sending he's sending his knowledge back home weekly. Uh, but again, it's one of those things where you tend to laugh, but he often screws up, and that's a good sort of thing in the show. It's like, hey, everybody makes mistakes. Seldom are people perfect. The world is not perfect, and you just sort of get through it. And Mork and Mindy, they went through a lot of stuff together, and a lot of it was really difficult. Um, they've known some crazy people. They've been wanted by an insane Neptunian. Um, they've gone to other planets. I mean, Mindy wouldn't have had his full life without Mork, but it may have been a little less nerve-wracking at times. Um, and in season 4, when they had spoilers, by the way, in season 4 when they had a kid, and Jonathan Winters came in as their son Mirth, the show got really funny. Jonathan Winters is, I mean, they almost brought it back. They kind of tried to make some changes after first season that didn't really work. First season was a lot about Mork, kind of learning to be here, and kind of his relationship with Mindy was there, but they kind of tried to focus on that a little bit more in season 2 and 3, and there were a lot of changes being made. They got rid of characters, they brought them back. Some characters were cool, but you never see them more than in the first season. Uh, so I can see where the writing decisions kind of spelled the show's end, but really, if a show lasts 4 seasons, that's pretty good. I think 4 seasons is a good length for a show. I think a lot of the shows I've liked have been, in the 3-4 season variety. You start going longer, and maybe you're sort of taking things a little bit too far. Like, I think Enterprise was a really good series, and it's 4 seasons. The original Star Trek, 3 seasons. Gargoyles is one of my favorite series. There's a 3 season right there. And then, there's some longer shows that are good too, but, Lost probably could have done with a season or 2 less, really. And been just fine, I think. But essentially, I think Mork and Mindy's a great show. I think that a lot of the stuff that Mork says at the end of the episodes and his reports to Orson are almost profound at times. Especially the one on loneliness was particularly good. I don't remember the exact episode on that one, but you can actually learn a lot from the guy and the people he's around, and just sort of also enjoy it. I think it'd be great for a family to watch. So go ahead and just in the search bar on YouTube right there, put in Mork and Mindy season 01 episode 01, and give it a watch. It's the longest episode. It's an hour. That's the other thing. The episodes are only about 25 to 22 minutes long. As you go into season 4, they took a couple minutes of programming away, I guess. So it's not a really long watch. Sometimes it does get a little hard to put up with here and there, and I do have to pause an episode to be able to get back into it. Like Mork's just doing something way too weird, or it's just kind of silly in a way that's uncomfortable. But I'd say there are very few episodes like that. So if you've never seen Mork and Mindy, check the show out. I think you'll get a kick out of it. I think it's better than a lot of the stuff on TV now. Anyway, bye bye.